welcome to another exciting edition of the Weekly AMA, starring me
and Budget Joe.
And Budget Joe. He's just a little older and a little less bearded, and he goes by Quality Extreme QX. Everybody, welcome QX.
Parentheses.
Yeah, well, we're parentheses, no parentheses today.
Great.
Yeah, so we got QX filling in for our friend Joe, who's out on assignment in Antarctica, and so got a lot of exciting stuff going on today. Got some questions we're gonna answer. Gonna definitely answer some questions because it is an AMA. And so I'll just start with my updates. Basically continuing the same work as I have been for the past couple of months. We are feeling out which funds are actually still active and still actively kind of interested in investing in Ergo, in the Ergo ecosystem. So we're doing it through several different venues, through the Zengate project, also seeing if there's interest for the Rosen Bridge. It is a little, it's not as active as I would have liked it to be, and the other foundation member that's working with me would have liked it to be, but there still is interest and we're progressing. It's just a matter of going in front of these guys and kind of showing them what the ecosystem has to offer, and really showing them how a project in this ecosystem can succeed commercially. In the big world, because that's the bottom line. They care about if this is going to succeed commercially, is going to succeed in a big way, which is understandable. So that is something that been working on quite a bit. Also on on my side, on the dev side, we're actually starting to dev out the actual library that we were talking about that's going to be open source for traceability. So this is the module that I spoke about on a few occasions. It's going to be utilized in a Palmyra Comdex, but will also be then packaged and available as open source for other projects that would like to utilize this. And so I'm actually working with MK Pi right now and LDG, who are helping me craft this, and just really excited about. Yeah, I'm sorry. Why do I keep saying MK? I know it's MG Pi. I look at his handle. It's not a Freudian slip, but just a dumbass slip. Anyway, MG Pi. I'm sorry, MG Pi. If you're watching, I screwed up your name yet again. Yeah, so the guys are working with me to build out this library, and like I said, it's going to be a separate library. So we are going to utilize it in Palmyra, but we're also going to make it available separately, and hopefully the community can then kind of dive in and give us feedback, audit the code, because this is really important stuff. This is the kind of stuff that is usable by the mainstream. Traceability is getting more and more important in the world today in the world of trading and the world of commodities right now. Governments more and more are starting to regulate and require traceability from larger companies. So this is going to be a really nice toolbox for us to have, or tool set for us to have, if other projects would like to also utilize traceability to make their projects more commercially viable. So that's really, really exciting. No further updates on the Ergo course. Again, that's still planned to go ahead in the beginning of next year. So this is the first semester of next year. The curriculum has already been put together, so we're just kind of waiting for the actual launch. That will be a really cool and interesting course. I'm going to teach a part of it myself. and we're going to record it in the classroom, and also make it interactive. So we're going to, make it really nice and packaged. And again, make it so that it's available for newcomers, for people who are getting into Ergo, because the ecosystem is booming. The ecosystem is exploding right now, and we just need these different tools for people of different walks of life. And just really, really important and exciting that we get this done.
Dan, what part are you going to teach? Are you going to teach the part where you show how to use punch cards to code for Ergo script?
Yeah, I'm going to use ticker tape, punch cards, and I'm also going to show them how to use gates, and/or, NAND/NOR. You remember your electronics, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, inverter. All of those. Most of you guys are like, what the hell is he talking about? That's actually, guys, those are actually, so the different gates that I mentioned, I didn't mention all of them, but I didn't say all of them, but this is actually what pretty much all of circuitry is made out of. It's like and/or, NAND/NOR, inverted, and then inverter, right? So, but did I miss one? I think it's been a while since I had to name them. And/or, NAND/NOR, one inverter. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, this is what modern circuitry is made out of. And back when I was young once, just like QX, we were young once. We're now old people. But back in the day, they used to teach electronics and the basics of it, and 555 timer circuits, and the logic gates is pretty much the basis of all modern circuitry. Anyway, that is somewhat Ergo related, but in a kind of a tangent. Hey, so we get QX, right? This is you, right? You're not AI, you're not a bot, right? You're actually here.
No, someday though, that'll be nice. Maybe Mark and I can get together and we can do a fully botified AI AMA. That'd be great.
Yeah, AI may. Anyway, so since you're not an AI, since you are the real deal, and since we don't have Joe today, but we have you, I think it would be really cool to get some Sigmanaut updates.
Awesome.
Well, what's been going on?
So we've done something really cool in Ergo, Sigmanauts, and I was going to do a tweet about it today to brag, but while we wait for Padilla, and all you guys know what Padilla is, I assume.
I say Paideia all the time, and I get corrected all the time.
Wait, am I right or wrong? Is it Padilla or Padilla?
I keep forgetting because our social media manager is Theo Chefpool, and he's Greek, and he's like Padilla, and like he says it in this like really Greek proper accent, and I always screw it up. I'm like Paideia, like Paideia. Anyway, you're probably right. It's probably Padilla, and I'm probably screwing it up again. But anyway, go ahead.
A Padilla Dea. There we go. I'll double up. So while we wait for that, we were pushed by some community members and some SIGCANs to have more transparent voting, on-chain voting. So on my way back from travel last week, at 35,000 feet, I wrote some on-chain polling. So essentially the Sigmanauts for proposals and for SIGCANs and Sigmanaut votes, they can go to the website now, and when a vote is created, it automatically creates 3 wallets, a yes, no, and abstain, specifically for that vote. Sigmanauts then create their own token. Mine's QX token. There's a coffee token. There's actually, it's a decaf coffee token. There's a cafe made, I believe. The point is, you take that token and you drop it into one of those vote wallets. And then the page will scan the blockchain and show you exactly how many of those vote tokens are in each yes, no, or abstain wallet. And that's what decides the vote. So anybody from the outside can then go and check the wallet for the yes vote and see on chain that this many votes were counted for the yes vote, this many for the no, this many for the abstain. That's the point, Dan.
That sounds really cool, and actually, I got to check that out. And what I meant was the point of decaf coffee.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, that's like it's like non-alcoholic beer. I mean, okay. Anyway, okay. We'll talk about that later. my co-founder can tell you that I drink a lot of caffeinated beverages because I have really long hours. Oh God, yeah, man.
I hope so, Dan.
Well, listen, how else am I gonna get up at 7 a.m. and go to bed at like 2:30, 3 a.m. and
That's
still
true.
not? I'm old. I'm old. Okay, I'm 45 years old. How do you expect me to be able to maintain that without like a Joe Biden cocktail of uppers? Like how do you expect me to do it? I can't. So I need the caffeine. Sometimes it's too much and it like knocks me out. I got to be careful with it. I have to know just the right amount. But decaf coffee is blasphemy. It's blasphemy. It should not happen. It should not exist.
Dan, I hear you.
Okay, either drink coffee or don't drink coffee. Okay, don't pretend drink coffee. Anyway, again, we're getting a little too far away from Ergo stuff.
Anyway, so the Unchained vote's there for everybody to see. The vote page is public, or at least the list vote page is public, and the wallets are public. So you'll see those in the notes. I think we'll post them next week so people can check it out. So that's pretty neat. Super easy to do with Ergo. We used MKPy tools.
Not MGPy.
MGPy. We use MGPy's ErgPy in the back end, so it's super easy to. You just essentially do a system call with whatever programming language you're doing to send a request to the Python ErgPy to make the wallets, and boom, they're done. They're made. Dump them in a database, and you're good to go. So that was really easy thanks to the tooling that Ergo provides. Secondly, we've been challenged with coming up with a lot of content for the Ergo Summit that's coming up. By Kushti, by Mark, by some core people. They said, hey, Sigs, how would you like to organize and help out with Ergo Summit? So a lot of community members have come forward while being called out and coming forward, same thing I count it as, and have been tasked and burdened with creating a video. So we're going to have videos of all the way from people who've never seen Ergo before, maybe an intro. One of them is an intro to TipperBot, how to use that, what it does, what makes it cool on Ergo. Another on lending. Cafe already made a great video on lending, starting from general aspects of the banking industry, how that works and loans work, moving on to how duck pools, Excel, and Signify work. Really good video. I'll start editing that soon. But we have a bunch of those videos coming together, almost 10 of them, I believe. And those you'll see those all on Ergo Summit Day 1, I believe. So looking forward to that. You guys should watch that. We're trying to keep them nice and short for you too, between 5 minutes to 10 and 20 minutes for the longer group ones. So you should be able to ingest those or digest those pretty quickly.
Digest. Well, you got to ingest to digest. So
yeah.
So there you go. You have to ingest them and then digest them, and they're easily digestible. So then you can. Anyway, we're not going to go there. Anyway, listen. How do you feel about getting some questions?
I'd love it, Dan.
What was that? Was it like a swig of whiskey or something? What did you?
This is mate.
Oh, mate, really? Shouldn't you drink it out of like a little like metal ball thing with the ball with a metal straw?
I'm not that fancy. I grew up. It's actually a funny thing, Dan. I see this glass right here, this mason jar.
Yeah, it's not a glass; it's a mason jar. Yeah.
Yeah. So I grew up fairly poor. All right, to where my mom would do a lot of canning, and we'd always have these small mason jars, and they'd always end up being our cups at dinner and everything. So we had these mugs that were chipped all the time, and then we had mason jars. And I'd go over to my friend's house and they'd have these beautiful matching cups. And I'd be like, wow, that's so cool to be able to have these cups that aren't broken, that are nice. And then, we're in the 21st century, 2000s. And I see people drinking coffee out of these on the bus with a lid. And it's like the thing to drink things out of. And they sell them in stores as sets and that kind of thing. So it's funny how those things kind of trend upward.
Pretty messed up. I grew up in the Soviet Union, so we just whatever we had, we used. That's how it worked. My grandmother, when we moved to the U.S., my grandmother, both, all my grandparents were deceased, but my dad's mom, she would not only save the mason jars, she would never throw away a mason jar, like, ever. She'd still save them in the U.S. Like and I mean, we weren't like rich or anything, but we weren't like, on the street or anything. We were like on welfare for a little while until we got jobs and everything. But she would save all the mason jars, and the tub from Country Crock, like, spread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She would save those too. She would put stuff in them.
Yep.
Just at random, like on a table, you just see like a thing of Country Crock with random stuff in it. Yeah,
yep.
Anyway,
my grandma would do the same thing with Country Crock and the butter cookies. There'd always be buttons or something in the butter cookie tins. Let's take some questions, Dan.
Let's take some questions. And it doesn't have to be about mason jars or putting stuff in margarine containers. All right. So, sorry. The reason why my thing might look a little different today is because I changed my setup. So I finally set up my desktop. I finally got everything set up, all my sound cards or everything, so I don't have to like haul ass back and forth with my laptop for every single AMA. But my eyes are too screwed up to be able to see the questions, and I didn't have enough time to make the text bigger. So I'm gonna squint and I'm gonna make it all weird. And then let's see. Okay, so here's a question from Terry Moore. Hey Dan, what is the best way to learn Ergo script? Right. Well, there are several ways to learn Ergo script. So it depends on what is your prior experience with programming in general. If you have never touched programming before and you want to learn Ergo script, so I would suggest just starting with Scala, because Ergo script is basically a subset of Scala. It's essentially is Scala. Understand Scala, at least the basics of Scala, of how it works, how to create a function, how to declare variables, how to do all these cool things that you need to write rudimentary code. And then we got some really good videos on Ergo script and how to use Ergo script made by the community. It goes from everything from just basic to advanced. And yeah, so just you can check out these videos. They're on YouTube. And just try it out. It's not brain surgery, it's really kind of, once you get the hang of Scala, at least the core concept of Scala, Ergo script is pretty straightforward. It's just everything is named in a really kind of straightforward way. You understand what different components do. So I just say start with Scala, then check out some videos, write some hello world code in Ergo script, and you'll be on your way. What do you think, Quality Extreme? What about the Sigmanauts? Do they have some special resources for Ergo script?
Yes, and it's called heading into the Deco Discord and talking to LGD and Cheese and asking them where their videos are and that kind of thing. They've recorded some of their basics for Ergo scripting, and they're absolutely fantastic. So the first video gives you a great overview of how EUTXO works and gives you a graphic representation of Cheese drawing with his mouse, which he's extremely good at. Strangely, he doesn't have a drawing tablet yet, I don't think. But LGD and Cheese teamed up on some of those videos as well. Absolutely fantastic. So those are good starters as well, if you want to head over to there and ask some questions in the Deco Discord, which Deco stands for, I forget, Decentralized College or something like that. I think that's what Joe said, and it's wrong.
Yeah. Something like that. Something like that.
It's great. Those guys are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and actually, I see. Listen, that is great, but you know what's? Sam is here. Sam is in the comments, and he's giving me away. He says the only thing that Dan drinks in the office is sugar-free Red Bull. Now, I do drink sugar-free Red Bull in the office, unless certain person that's probably named Sam rips off my sugar-free Red Bull and have to drink the fully loaded Red Bull, which is fine, but that's just not cool. Not cool, Sam. Anyway, let's get to another question here. I'm gonna do my weird thing. All right. Mm, all right. Well, Wendy Moon is asking, which should be higher, the percentage of your net worth that you hold in crypto, or the percentage of your bloodstream, that is caffeine? Of course, the latter. It's the
going to be
latter.
that type of AMA today, isn't it?
It's fine. It's the latter. We have to make these things clear, okay? All right. So, okay. Here's a good question from Augustus Kent. Let's see. So, Charles Hoskinson spoke about investing in and helping to build up the Ergo ecosystem at some point. In your view, why would he not do that sooner rather than later? What is he waiting for? Cheers. Right. So, yes, Charles has spoken about that. Charles is very supportive of the ecosystem, but Charles has got his own blockchain. He's got his own blockchain, and that's a lot of work. Cardano is a lot of work. There's a lot. There's a lot of work to do on that. I'm not, and a lot of it is done, and the amount of work that's still left to do is still pretty major. So, I mean, that's why he loves Ergo. He's very supportive of us, but he's got to take care of his own business first. I'm sure that at some point when things start winding down with Cardano, with Cardano development, when Voltaire happens, when treaty it basically goes to the community, then yeah, Charles, I think, will be more involved in Ergo and in what we do, and have a little bit more leeway in kind of helping out this ecosystem. But again, I just want to reiterate that just on a personal level, whenever I talk to Charles, he's super bullish on Ergo. He constantly tries to do something to help us out, connections, just mentions, just whatever he can. So yeah, just the time will come, and I think it'll happen. And like I said, he is a fan, so just got to be a little bit more patient. All right, so let's see. The Vicenion. Okay. Anyway, is asking, why did Yoroi Wallet stop support for Ergo? Well, it was basically just a kind of costing decision. They have a lot of different development to support. They got a lot of Cardano stuff to support. You have dApps to support. They prioritized. It's unfortunate, but they prioritized, and they decided that they're going to stick to Cardano. However, we got so many great wallets now that I don't think we are in any, we're fine. I mean, Nautilus, Terminus, Ergo Wallet for iOS, or Ergo Wallet for Android. There's just so many options. There's so many options.
SafeW, Minotaur, yep.
Yeah, Minotaur, exactly. I mean, there's just so many options. And this stuff is open source, which is great, because not only is it a great wallet, but if you're building an application, if you're building a project, you can utilize components of it. Like I said, we're most likely going to be using parts of Nautilus in Palmyra to manage the NFT collections that are going to be created to tokenize the different commodities. We couldn't do that with Yoroi because Yoroi is not open source. And I'm not saying that, it's like, I mean, they do them and we do us. So that just, it is what it is. Yeah, I just don't think that it hindered the ecosystem. We adapted.
We can look at Yoroi and thank it for what it did for us in the early days, and being the wallet to utilize. And then, as Ergo always does, and grows and becomes more magnificent, you have the amazing wallets you listed off, Dan, that more than cover for what that was. So yeah, and our open source as well. So Yeah. I mean, while it's a loss, it's also, we've also gained so much since then.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I for example, and of course, Captain Nemo can correct me if they would like, but I believe that just I guess the lack of advancement that we could pursue with Yoroi is what spawned the creation of Nautilus. And Nautilus is an amazing product. It is. It's a great product. It is a huge value add for the ecosystem. And that's what's great about this community. Instead of complaining, instead of being like, oh my God, they don't support Ergo anymore. What do we do? We came up with a solution. We build bigger, better. And that's what Ergo does, and that's just great. And it's only winding up, this kind of stuff. With the stuff that we're doing we're doing at Zengate, with the stuff that they're doing at Spectrum. With all these other projects, with the cheese enthusiasts, Sigma Phi, we're literally building bigger and better now. Bigger, better, stronger, robust. It's an evolution thing, and it's beautiful. I mean, QX, what do you say about that?
I 100% agree. I mean, the things that come out of the pipe because of that need. I mean, the whispers I heard, Dan, I think you're on the right track there, was that Nemo came out of the darkness and saved us with that wallet in the time of need back then. So that's, I think you're correct in that vision. At least that's what I heard. But yeah, the things
our Lord and Savior.
100%. And even the advancements now that keeps on going. Nemo just integrated that, what's he call it? Not connector, but the name escapes me. But he's got that 4th or 5th tab now in the Nautilus wallet. If you update your wallet, that allows for smaller apps or smaller functions to run. So the current thing that he wrote for it was the box consolidator for people who need an easy way to consolidate their boxes. There's a one-click button built in there. Which is cool. And I think, do you remember the name for it, Dan? The framework that he's having there. Other people can write for it too, I believe.
Unfortunately, no.
A framework.
It's not the DApp connector. It's not the DApp connector, is it?
No,
that's not it. Yeah,
okay.
No.
Yeah.
But anyway, hey, after the AMA, you can check it out yourself. I mean, it is open source. That's what it is. It's open source. It's available. The information is out there. So don't trust us old people. Just check it out for yourself. QX, I think, is kind of like resenting me now. It's like, just don't drag me into your old people thing, okay? I'm still young at heart. I think that's not a no. That's just kind of like a joyful laugh. So I get it. All right, let's see.
The good thing about this open source stuff is that if Dan pisses off Nemo, with one of these AMAs, and Nemo leaves, somebody can pick up where he left off and take the code from there.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think I can piss off Nemo. Nemo is a trooper. I trolled Nemo a couple of times and just didn't hinder. So yeah.
If anybody's on Twitter, I encourage you to follow Captain Nemo. They are very prolific on Twitter and very, very fun to watch. So if you're into that, I suggest following it. And while Dan's looking for another question, let me encourage everybody to check your box age. If you've been in chat for a little bit, you'll notice that we've talked a little bit about the zero height issue with one of the off-chain batching bots that was running on Spectrum. Not Spectrum, but somebody was running their own bot with modified code. And essentially it made the header 0 for the block during the TX. So that means that when storage rent comes up, it's going to start collecting rent on those 0 header boxes, even though they were done around the 800,000, 850,000 block height. So what we've done is we've scanned the whole blockchain for it, and we've sent out an NFT to everybody. This says, oh shit, look at your boxes. And the NFT in the description says, you may have been involved in this and please consolidate your boxes. So everybody check out that. If you're in Nautilus, go to that new tab over and check your box ages. If you're in Terminus, go to the DApps button maybe, or whatever that is down there, and there's a wallet age checker. You can do it in MyBot. You can do it at TokenJ as well, I believe. Check your boxes. Be aware. Make sure you're not part of that zero height batching bot that someone was running, and be safe. Sorry, Dan. Next question.
Wait a second. Sorry, Dan, but then you kind of give me like a command, like you're the commander.
Oh yeah,
okay,
I'm running
Captain.
the show, Dan. Running.
All right, Captain. Aye, Captain. All right. Oh, hey, Captain. By the way, Joe Foreman asks, "Hey guys, when 6.0 roadmap?" Thanks. So, when 6.0 roadmap? Do you know?
No, I don't know. Do you know?
No. That would be a quick question for Joe. Joe would know.
Where's Joe? Where's Kushti? Is Kushti busy today?
Kushti's doing Kushti stuff. Kushti's away on assignment. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to another one here.
If only we could choose what questions were up on the screen, Dan, then we wouldn't pick ones that we didn't know the answer to.
That's too complex of a tangent for me there, buddy. Sorry, I'm anyway. Not enough coffee. My caffeine is wearing off. All right. Okay. So here's a nice question for you, my friend.
Awesome.
Okay, since you are the king of the Sigmanauts, the emperor. All right. So what is the difference between Sky Harbor and Ergo auctions? Asks Vision, or V7 Eon. I'm reading it as Vision. What is the difference?
All right. So Sky Harbor is really good for listing NFTs in collections and registering them, so that you are aware, and if you trust that the way Sky Harbor verifies is your original mint from the NFT, you register it with Sky Harbor so it knows that you created it and you have control of that wallet. So those collections are verified in Sky Harbor. So when you're buying on Sky Harbor and trading NFTs, you can be aware that that's verified there for those sales. Auction House is more of a comprehensive tool for minting, holding your collection, viewing your collection, and auctioning off these items. So you'll see Funiculum with some of his, I think he just has the Bass NFT that's out, the Bass Gnome. That's pretty neat that I was going to bid on. I think it's got like 5 hours left. I better snipe it. It's at 40 Erg right now. So Auction House is a place where you can go to mint your NFT. You can mint tokens, I think, for version 3, from what I hear. I haven't checked it out yet. Along with the NFTs. You can put them up for auction for a set amount of time. People can bid on them, which is really cool. And if you were listening to, was it last week's AMA or something? That's a funny thing that Kushti was talking about, how when he first dived into EUTXO, auctions were something that he didn't think were possible. And whoever assisted with that proved him wrong, which is really cool to hear from Kushti. So UTXO auctions are really neat, where, as I said, you post your artwork there for a set amount of time and people bid on it, and the highest bidder at the end gets that. So I'd look at it more of anybody do Linux? I'd look at Sky Harbor as I'd look at Auction House as GNOME, and Sky Harbor as damn it, Dan, what's the other version of GNOME that starts with a K? Gosh damn it, I'm getting old. Look what you're doing to me. I hang out with you for 2 AMAs and I'm already forgetting shit.
That's right.
So like, it's the difference between GNOME and K, like Ubuntu and Kubuntu. So one's like this collection where everything's verified and you post them up for sale and you can browse collections, and the other one is where you can mint, you can manage, you can put things up for auction. So they both have their own utility, and yes, it's like a Venn diagram where they do overlap in some instances, but they each have their own specific utility which they excel at.
Good answer, old man.
You weren't even listening to Dan.
What?
You weren't even listening. You were looking for the next question.
Why would I want any cheese? What are you talking about?
All right, what's the next question?
You're not making any sense. Can you say all that again?
I said you weren't even listening to me.
No. Even before that, what were you just talking about for the past 10 minutes? I have no idea. Say it all again. Anyway, all right. Well, you can tell me later. Let's see. So, speaking of our friend Foe, he is here and he says, "Hey guys, Ergo daily transactions are at an all-time high. But what do you think Ergo needs to achieve higher daily volume and exchanges?" Well, I'll tell you, it'll need a couple of things. It'll need some killer DApps and it'll need a bull market. I mean, that's pretty much what it would need. We need to put out some killer DApps that are that are gobbled up by multiple ecosystems, and we just also need to wait for the bull market, because that's when more transactions happen. And that's when and if you're talking about exchange transactions, because we're doing good. We're doing good for a bear market. We're doing damn good. More volume. That's a bull market thing. What do you think, UX?
Yeah, I think access to the ecosystem is also really important. So, we have the killer apps. Like, we already have Sigmafy, which is cranking out at over 200,000 TVL right now, or TLV, total lock volume. What's it? It's TVL, TLV, whatever.
Total value locked. TVL.
Yeah. So I think it's 230 or was it 250 last time I checked? Maybe it's dropped down again. But you have amazing apps like that, to the simple apps as far as TipperBot with coming back out on Twitter soon. I think Louis was going to look into, and other things. So we have a ton of killer apps that are out there. Auction House version 3, Sky Harbor, a Blitz TCG, even Cyberverse, the Mummy game. There's so much stuff out there that half of you probably miss if you don't look for it. So it's there and it works really well. But I think let's say you're on Ethereum network or Cardano, and you see Sigmafy cranking up. Are you going to convert some of your, you're going to go buy new ERG and ship it to your wallet and utilize that? Or, what's a pathway in? I think those need to be looked at a little better and harder, and grease up a little bit to make that more apparent or make that more attractive. So Rosen Bridge, I think, will help with that. So, if there's some hot loans on Sigmafy that somebody wants to snap up and you're on the Cardano blockchain, you can pop over, within an hour over the Rosen Bridge and snag up that loan, and never really lose your ADA as far as that goes, because you're just swapping it for the Rosen ADA on the other side. So I think that'll be really cool once Rosen comes out and is functional. And you just saw that simple swap derivative. You see that in chat, Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a little simple swap derivative that lets you go from different chains to ERG now that they implemented ERG. And it's interesting. And somebody asked in chat how that works. And it's essentially, it's centralized. So essentially you're dumping your ERG in one wallet, and a central entity is watching that, and then it knows that you did it, and in the registers, or in their database, depending on where they do it, it registers where it's supposed to send the ADA to, and then it sends from their wallet into your ADA wallet, or ADA. Sorry, ADA. You correct?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was gonna let you say it like five more times, and then I was gonna say it's not ADA Lovelace, it's Ada Lovelace.
ADA. So yeah, that's more of a centralized kind of thing. So use your own risk as far as that goes. But those kind of little toolings that are coming up, I think is a good sign. Is a great sign. And we see more people in the ecosystem too, in the main chat. We had the BAS token that came out, that's still kind of a mini phenomenon, mini little surge there. Price went up to like $30 or something. Did you get any BAS, Dan? Did you send your ERG? Did you send your 0.25 ERG over to that BAS wallet?
No, I did not. I have been watching it. But I didn't get a chance to participate in that. But I see that some Sigmanauts did, and people are having fun. Fun is cool. I like fun.
Fun is cool. I grabbed it in the third round right before it dropped below 200. the way it worked is it had a set number of tokens. It gave a percentage away for the first round. Once the token slipped below a certain number, it started giving less away. And once it slipped behind another number, it gave less away. And then the perpetual is under 200 tokens. It gives a even lower amount. So I grabbed it literally, I think, at 203 tokens. So I milked it a couple times. I may have done 10 transactions. I'm not admitting to anything. And I have my little bit of bass. I just thought it was fun and a cool concept. And as a Sigmanaut, I try to support those kind of things as a community member. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, that's actually that's sort of the way the Husky doggy bowl worked.
Correct.
Yeah, that's back in the day. You'd send 2.5 ADA to it, and then it'll give you a random amount of Husky. But after a while, the amount, when it came to a certain amount and the available supply, it started going down. Yeah, so this is kind of along the same lines, which is cool. So yeah. No, I saw people having fun. I mean, look, guys, having fun, that's one thing. But just, and this is not for Ergo Bass because that just. It really was just the ecosystem kind of having a little bit of fun for the most part. But just with meme coins in general, guys, fun is one thing, but it's not a good way to create quote unquote generational wealth. So just be careful out there with meme coins. That's all I got to say.
Speaking of meme coins, I had the stupidest shower thought the other day, Dan. Should I indulge you?
Well, as long as you indulge me in the thought and out of picture of you in the shower. Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, that's what I was talking about.
Just awkward silence.
So the thought was, I don't know how it'd be technically possible, but it'd be neat to have Rosen act as the meme aggregator. So essentially, let's say you had the meme god token or the meme for all meme tokens on Ergo. And I don't know how this work with stretching supply, but you could essentially take meme tokens from any ecosystem, snake on ADA.
I think, yeah.
Pepe on that other chain, starts with an E. You could take all these meme coins, and when you brought them over the Rosen Bridge, they would all convert somehow to an equal amount of this ERG meme token. And then you could go to any other bridge you wanted to, or any other ecosystem onto that. So essentially, instead of creating a meme dupe token for SNEC on Ergo, all the meme tokens would come over to the same token, which would only be one grand meme token on Ergo, and then you could go out Rosen Bridge to any other chain, to any other meme token. So it could be this kind of gateway to drugs on other chains.
Good job, promoting crypto drugs. Thanks, QX. That's a great thought. Shower thought.
I forgot to wash myself too, so that was a long thought.
Don't forget next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get away from that thought as quickly as possible. So here's a question from Vision, and they did clarify that it's pronounced Vision. All right. So let's see. The question is, what did I do with it? Because Vision asked a bunch of questions, so I can't just look for his handle. All right. So the question was about AI. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the integration of AI and blockchain? Are there any plans for Ergo to do this in the near future? Okay. Well, QX, I'll let you start with this because I kind of have my own AI journey that I'm on right now. So what do you think about that?
Nice. So yeah, I dabble a lot in AI. We, with Mark, we run the AI Ergo channel that uses Stable Diffusion. It uses what's it called? ChatGPT 3 and 5. So, crypto, at least in the aspect of interaction, is already diving into it. If you go to the main Ergo platform website, Mark has integrated Athena, I believe is the name of the bot, which is a ChatGPT 3.5 and 4 integration. utilizing a model that has been trained with all the Ergo platform web URLs, as well as some of the physical digital PDF documentation with that. So you can essentially, what it does is when you create a prompt for it, it feeds it a set prompt that that Glasgow has already made that says, "Hey, pretend you're a support person for Ergo. Reference these things, but don't reference too much," kind of thing. So every text you send that bot is precursored by that, and then it spits out a response. So as far as functionality in interactions and documentations and outside of the blockchain, Ergo's already diving into that with the chat, with the documentation integration. As far as AI and the blockchain, that's so busy diving into the other stuff that I haven't really thought about that as far as that goes. But there has been talk of kind of a crossover where you go to a site and you utilize an AI to generate an NFT that is automatically minted by that as well. So there's that. There's also the ability for AI to check your code. I think Noah early on tried out, sent some Ergo script or a smart contract to it and asked it to review it, or somebody did, and it did an okay bang up job doing it as well. And that's not to say that we couldn't train it to write Ergo script and to learn how to debug it as well. So that kind of integration is super easy. Just takes some time. As far as actually utilizing AI inside the blockchain somehow, maybe with an Oracle integration or something like that, that's not something I've even considered or thought of at this point. Dan, what's your journey look like? How has your journey been treating you?
Well, my journey has actually been, so I made a lot of progress with Palmyra even before I kind of had some people jump on, like MG Pi and LGD. Yeah. And I know.
I'm just helping you out. I'm just trying to help you out.
I'm just getting slow. I'm old. Okay. Just like you. Anyway. Yeah, so I really needed to get the primitive up for Palmyra. And look, I mean, I know Java, I know Scala, I kind of know Ergo script, but there's just only so much stuff that you can do when you're doing stuff by yourself. Just it's a project for 8 developers, and you're just by yourself, and you want to get stuff going. What do you do? Well, I went and started using AI. And I paid for ChatGPT. I got the paid version, paid the $20. And the thing's been writing pretty damn good code. I mean, look, you still have to look through it, and sometimes it writes way too much code, and you just kind of have to consolidate it. And you have to also know how to talk to it. You have to give it specific directions. You have to tell it, okay, so do this, but don't do this. Use this type of method, use this type of approach, and yada, yada, stuff like that. So it's not just about, saying, okay, ChatGPT, write me a paradigm shifting commodity trading platform. It's like, okay, sir, here you go. That doesn't work that way. You have to, you still have to know what you're doing to be able to get it to generate good code, to be able to get it to generate good, concise, and useful code. That you don't have to, that's not going to be either clunky or have to be rewritten pretty much in its entirety. The same with Ergo script. It actually does do an okay-ish job with Ergo script, but it screws it up. I tried to kind of work on some Ergo script with it, and yeah, it just, I mean, about 50% of the time it gives you code that you can use. 50% of the time it kind of gives you, I mean, if you do simple stuff, then maybe, but if you're trying to do something that's a little bit kind of like midway complicated, it's a bit of a hassle. So hopefully we can train the language model to utilize kind of better Ergo script techniques, because I mean, essentially that's what it is. It'll write you code that's supposedly okay, but the way it's written is just, it's clunky. So yeah, but without the AI, it would have taken me 10 times longer to write the stuff that I wrote with the AI, just because I'm just one guy. I was one guy. I mean, now there's more of me, but now back then it was just one guy trying to get this thing just going. And yeah, back in the day, I mean, look, I've written applications by myself. I wrote an application by myself that wasn't utilized by a company out here called Duskin, which is actually like kind of a Procter and Gamble of Japan. They kind of own a little bit of everything, and they make stuff, and so it's sort of like the equivalent, sort of. Yeah, so I've done it myself. I've done production level commercial apps by myself. It's a pain in the ass to do by yourself. It's a lot of work. Quality assurance, auditing. You get stuck on something, you're stuck. It's you're done. Like, you have to solve the problem. And nobody else. You can't just say, okay, you work on this and you work on this. It just stops. So yeah, I mean, AI made it possible for me to really kind of spit out code that was functioning, that did what it was supposed to do a lot faster. So that's been my journey with AI and with coding.
It also works the reverse too, everybody. So for those of you who are watching that are not coders whatsoever, I've used it for analyzing languages that I don't even want to try to figure out. So let's say somebody wrote something in a language that I don't know, but I really want to check it out and see what the function of this is or what it's doing. I can dump that script or that file, copy and paste it into ChatGPT and say, hey, can you tell me what this is doing? What's the function of this? Or what's it calling? What's it reaching out to? And it'll pump out a nice little paragraph and say, this is doing this, and this is looking at this, and it's calculating this, and it's pulling from these sources, and it's outputting this kind of thing. So it's a really good, way for you guys to understand programming, without even understanding it, kind of thing. And on top of that too, oh damn it, where was I going to go with this? Oh, with the AI integration. So the third level of this is something that I hope Mark or Glasgow will jump into at some point too, is analytics. So, they've been using computer modeling forever to gauge the stock market, for those kind of things, for markets. So if neural networks could be utilized in models to be able to analyze when trends are coming for Ergo, or when other chains are happening, with, how these booms happen and how these down cycles happen. If we could put that in the hands of the average user to be able to run these analytics with these models quickly and efficiently, then I think that would be a game changer for the average investor and the average person, as far as that goes.
Yeah. Well, what you're saying about kind of reverse engineering, or whatever you want to call it, that's also really good, because like, say for example, you have a piece of code in a language that you might not know, might not understand, or might just be a completely different language, and you just don't. It'll take your brain much longer to really put the two and two together. You know what you want to do with it, but how to do it is going to take you way too long, and you're kind of on a time crunch. So you put it in there and you say, okay, what does this code do? Like, okay, A, B, C, D. Okay, so rewrite this code to use, and you say, okay, component A, B, C, D that's listed above, in a Scala class, or in a Java class, or whatever. And it's basically for porting. It's really good for porting. And it gets better and better and better. I mean, when I just started using it, one of the issues that I was actually facing with AI was it would quit. How back it would spit out code, but it would stop halfway and just like give up. And then you'd have to tell it continue, or you'd have to tell it pick up from line blah 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 blah. And sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. Well, now they know that that's a problem. Now they actually have a thing. If it stops generating code, you just click continue and it keeps generating it. So, because what would happen would be, sometimes it would just like, I'd say, finish the code, or like finish generating. And then it'd say, great, I'm glad I could help. Like, what the hell are you talking about? It's not done. I meant finish generating the code. Yeah. So it's getting a lot better. It definitely is. And it's a great tool. It's a great tool, guys. Actually, going back to the first question, of what is the best way to learn Ergo script? That is a really good tool for learning Ergo script, because you can put Ergo script in it and you can ask it, what does this Ergo script do? And it'll tell you what it does. And so that way you could essentially understand what you're looking at and then start picking it apart and just kind of pulling components out of it and telling it, okay, I want to use this component in this way. And then it'll generate the code for you. And you look at the code and you understand the code and you say, okay, now I understand how this thing works. So it's a great learning tool as well for Ergo script. And I think it's just going to get better and better and better.
And I like to always comment on a quote that Professor Cornell that I worked with always says. And I think he said this about VR. He says that all the technology, you think of it like a dam, all right? So there's always, as you go through the steps of rising difficulties and marvels in technology, you hit these dams, okay? So there's a ton of stuff being held up by the dam of this one functionality that you can't quite figure out. And something like Oculus comes along with their ability to really lock in the tracking on the head, so it really feels like you're in it. Or something like ChatGPT comes along where they have these amazing language models, and it works very, very well. Once that little floodgate pops, so many things can be elevated to be utilized with this tool. So many things came out with VR. So many things are coming out with ChatGPT so fast. So I like to say that just like a dam, when that dam breaks, you have a huge rush of things, and getting to the next level is really, really quick. ChatGPT is already coming out with these crazy plugins. If you go check out the Ergo AI chat, Mark's posted some things in there about these plugins that people are coming out with ChatGPT that are integrated into it that allow some absolutely amazing things to be done that you're like, wow, this kind of function worked without AI over here, but they've really integrated an AI and made a whole new beast. So those kind of things really jump. It's absolutely amazing to see. We're living in everybody says we're living in an amazing time, but enjoy it. It's absolutely fantastic.
Well, we're always living in an amazing time. Every time is something amazing. I mean,
every time I'm in an AMA with you, Dan, it's an amazing time.
You should feel really, really amazing, because it's amazing. With the blink of an eye, you finally see the light. And
we have any more questions? Or is this it?
Listen, I think this is a good place to wrap it up for today. Yeah, we had some really good questions. Got to touch on a few really cool things like AI. That was really nice. It's really, Sam can tell you, like, I always have a ChatGPT window open because I'm just constantly working with that thing. So it was a good question. Yeah. And, look, UX, it's always good to have you on here. And, well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, it is. It's good.
You can call me the Budget Joe. It's fine. I'll take that.
Budget Joe. Yeah. Budget Joe. Joe from Wish. Yeah. Joe from Wish. It's nice to have you.
The Walmart Joe.
No, Joe from Wish. It's the Chinese made Joe.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway. All right. We figured it out. So anyway, let's wrap it up for today. Thanks a lot for everybody for the great questions. Thank you for participating. And as always, tune in, same place, same channel, the YouTube channel, that is. And we will be here for yet another exciting AMA. Same time, same channel. I already said that. Anyway. All right, everybody. Have a good day, and thanks for joining.